checking out my 808's Ableton Live Pack. This is a collection of sounds and tools to make melodic bass drums for your music. Right now you're hearing it in action. We've got just a simple 808 kit playing. This is just the standard kit that comes with Live. And I've got this 808 bass line. It's basically a kick drum and a sustain tone at the same time. And I've also got another instrument made with kick drum samples right here playing the chords. So this also comes with the pack. I'll let you hear another example. It's another beat. And we start with just this kick. We can add in our keys part, so you can hear that. And then here's our kick drum. And let's hear it all together. So this instrument here is supplying the impact of the kick as well as the tone for the bass. And I'll give you one more. And again, we just have a simple beat with just hi-hats and snares and claps. We've got an ARP line from one of our synth instruments made with the kick drum samples. And we've got our bass line supplying also the kick drum sound. So I'd like to show you what this pack is all about when you open it up. So we'll see we have our presets. We've got all these different sounds for kicks. They're labeled kicks for the kick drums. And everything else is a melodic synth. We've also got a collection of sounds called default builders. And these are the things you can use to make your own 808s. I'm going to go through these real quick. Right here I've got the bass drum builder. I'm playing it melodically on my push. And we can balance our impact sound with our tone volume. So we can change our impact sound. I'm going to take the tone down. So you can hear these are just nice little short kick drum samples. We can play with the volume of those. We can also play with the pitch as well. And then we can bring in our tones. And we've got a bunch of different tones to select from. And by combining these two, we get interesting kick drum sounds. That also function like bass lines. You can open this up and you've got control over some more of the impact, so we can filter down the impact if we want. We can add some grit to it, some dirt. And then we can also play with the tone as well. We can add some crunch, some overdrive. We've got the filter over here, and we've also got a filter envelope that will move the filter over time. So you've got a lot of control on building these sounds. So that's the drum builder where you combine the impact and the tone. And we've also got the tone itself right here that can be used as a melodic synth. And that's where a lot of these synths came from in the sound examples. We've got the impacts, so you can just work with those on their own. We've also got a collection of 60 different bass drum sounds made with the Electron analog rhythm. And these use all kinds of features on that analog rhythm, the different synth engines, the distortions, the overdrives. They're all tuned to a G, and you can transpose these to fit your track using the transpose control. So you can tune them, you can filter them, you can add drive to them, you can change the filter type to maybe some different style of filter if you prefer. There's also a pitch envelope, which you can use to give the sound some more sort of impact, and a volume control. Then we've got the exact same rhythm drum samples, but now they're set up to be melodic instruments. And a lot of these sounds that you'll see in the synth section over here come from these particular sounds. We can decide which kick sample we want to use, and then we can apply some very synthesis type things to them. And there's also a multi-effect rack in there. We add a little crunch here, and we'll go into the multi-effect rack, add some chorus, maybe a little delay, and then even some dirt. And this is a nice melodic polyphonic instrument that you can play using kick drum samples. And just turning the knob on the kick drum selector will drastically change the sound. So those are quite a lot of fun, and the rest of our builders are kind of set up here. These are one shots, so these are more like monophonic sounds, and this works well for your kick drum samples, but also for some like nice plucky leads and things like that. And again, you can change your kick selector to get a different sample, and it changes the sound incredibly. And then we have a polyphonic version of that. Great for pluck sounds and chords and leads. And this is the default, so I haven't even done anything to it. We can change this sound, we can filter it out, add the filter envelope, add some effects like some delay, maybe a little chorus, crank up the amount. And very quickly you've got some really cool sounding synths. So inside the pack, we've got this group called Kicks, and these are all of the presets that have been made using the default builders, and they're all labeled here in our presets. They have kick in there, so you know which are the kicks and which are the synths. And we can play like one of these beats. And just choose whichever ones we want and make our little bass lines out of it. We're kind of playing the kick drum and the bass line at the same time. And this one has a cool ringing out that happens if you hold it down. If you're not a fan of that, you could always filter that out. Bring it in a little bit, have some fun with it. There are 33 presets that I've made. Some insane ones like the Atari bass. This is a loud one. A lot of bass, really crazy sound. Maybe just pick some more at random here. So if you need some bass line, some heavy sub sounds with the kick, that's what this pack is all about. Stop this. And I just want to show you also some of the synths. These are plenty of different kick sounds. I think you might get the idea. But the synths are really cool. Like you can make some really fun synth sounds. This one's called Lost Souls. Open it up maybe so you can see some of the effects. Add a little more dirt. Really nice sound. And you get a much different sound if you start moving the knob for the kick selector. Some of the kicks that I'm sampling to make these instruments have a lot more energy in the high end. Open that filter. Go to another one, Melancholy Pluck, we kind of heard earlier in one of the sound examples. And these can be played higher too. Go even higher. Cool rising sound, that's called optimistic, and this one's called pessimistic because the sound drops. song going here. Off to the Heavens. So there's a nice rhythmic thing happening. This is actually my favorite one. It's called the E Piano Man. It's such a deep, like, emotional sound. I'm really feeling that one. This is Grandpop's steel drum. Thought it sounded a bit like a steel drum. The Undusted Organ. This is another one of my favorites too. It's very organ type sound, but it's almost like it's a little broken, a little dirt in there. Use the spread to make it a little wider. And if we change the tone selector, we're gonna dramatically change the sound of this synth. So each one of, that's pretty nice too. Each one of these synth sounds are really customizable. And if you use the builders over here, for instance, like maybe this one, you can have quite a lot of fun building your own sounds. So there's a bit of crunch and distortion going on with it. Bring that dirt down. Got a little chaos with the chorus. It gets a little wild. Right about there. And we can move the filter using the filter envelope. Now the filter's opening slowly. Or we could do the opposite and have it close. So, this is the 808's sound pack. It's really nice for making these melodic kick drums that you hear in a lot of popular music, but it's also really fun to make other sounds too, and I've been enjoying that quite a lot. So thank you so much for checking this out. Have fun and enjoy.